Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Session 3, AI for Research, Career, and in the Arts, Practical Applications. My name is Cindy, an instructor from the University Libraries. Today, we are honored to have 4 speakers to share their AI-empowered use cases. Also, I would like to thank the Microsoft AI Student Ambassador Programs for offering AI literacy training to our student speakers, which they can share their use cases with us today. And before they start, I would like to mention for Hong Kong U students and staff how we can access Copilot and use GPT-5. So with our Hong Kong U campus license, you can easily access Copilot when you log into Microsoft Suite with your Hong Kong U Portal account. For example, on these slides that you can see is a desktop version of Microsoft Teams. So when you open the app, to the left-hand side, the menu bar that you can see there is a Copilot button. Then you click on it, you will see the interface like this. Then to the top right corner, then you can see Try GPT-5 that you can use and message chat with Copilot. And why we use Microsoft Copilot? Because as Hong Kong U students and staff, we have free access and we can easily access it by desktop app or web app. For example, if you are using Outlook with your browser, then to the top left corner, you can find an access to go to Copilot, or to the left-hand side, you can also see a button of Copilot, or to the right, that you can also see a Copilot button that allows you to have AI chat within Outlook or within other apps like Microsoft Word document, PowerPoint, or Excel. And Microsoft Copilot serves as an options besides the Hong Kong U ChatGPT. With Copilot, that you can use GPT-5, and also it supports images and files and cloud files upload from OneDrive. It can also keep chat history in the conversations. So if you go to the Copilot, you see this interface, you try to type in something if you didn't use it before, then once you have a chat that you can see the conversations, you can see your history.
Yes, hello.
Yeah.
Um, Nice to see everyone. We have 61 participants. Thank you for coming today. So we are the second people to present. Today we will be presenting Resume Remix. It's a Copilot workshop meant to develop your resume further. My name is Kalola Sabaiba.
I'm Cheryl Yang.
Yes.
Yes, let's start.
So we want to first start off with the audience, and we want to start off with the question of what's the hardest part about writing your resume? And I'm sure most of you have done resume development before or have looked into it if you are a new student, but I would like at least some of you to share in the chat what you found difficult, and I've put examples of my own hard times with resume development. Okay, well, I'll share mine. So I have a hard time kind of matching job requirements or just overall describing my experience to a certain kind of job that I want to get into. Can we go on to the next slide?
Yeah.
And yeah, based on studies that I've seen, especially the MIT study, we have found that the people who used AI assistants for their resume were 7.8 times more likely to be hired. And people with AI assistants earned 8.4% more higher wages than the control group. So resumes with 99% of the words spelled correctly were also hired 3 times more in their first month.
So while Lola shows the importance of having a resume, your journey of building a resume should never just end here. There's so much more to consider. It's not just by dumping your work experience, leadership initiatives, or your education background into your resume. Other than like competing with hundreds of applicants with your resume, you first are competing with a robot, often known as the applicant tracking system ATS, which will scan every single word in your resume. So having an idea of how your resume is passing the screening, so hitting keywords written in a job description gives you a higher chance to pass the first test among the big pool of candidates. A tailored resume with the right keywords is what get you past the digital gatekeeper. And if you do get through, like your resumes only are scanned by recruiters for 6 to 8 seconds. It's like you scoring through an Instagram Reels daily. So it's crucial to have a good impression. So a strong resume isn't just a document, it's a key to opening doors. And you're not just telling how great you are by boosting, you need to show how what you have done to drive resell, which is quantifiable.
So you've been hearing M365 Copilot being thrown around, and like this is the presentation for it. So what is it actually? So it is an AI tool built into Word, Excel, Outlook, and LinkedIn. It's your assistant, and it helps with writing, editing, summarizing, and personalizing content. And you can see in our demo later on where we actually showcase its main tools.
Now you have Copilot and 365 in your hand, so you need to make it your own by mastering how to use it effectively. That's why we need to put the right prompt ingredients into Copilot, which is very, very important because you don't want to just having very vague and general answers from Copilot with your change your resume prompts. So you definitely need to have a very structured prompt for Copilot to follow and generate a very personalized and precise prompt for you. So, so we should start by brainstorming a reason for answering your prompt. So why do you need it and who is involved? This will give you first a context. Moving on, ask yourself, what do you want to do? What do you want from Copilot? An image, a text reply, or other forms like interactive quizzes, maybe. So a goal can be aimed for when you have a clear mind of what do you want to do. After typing the very detailed requirement into Copilot, do you have any resources or sample you need Copilot to follow? If yes, which particular ones? So sources help substantiate your prompt by granting it Copilot a frame, a template to generate the best answer for you. Before sending out your reply, you can still polish it before that. So how Copilot can respond your prompts to best fit your expectations. So we maybe we can ask Copilot to help generate the answer in bullet point form or in paragraphs. With all of these prompting ingredients, you would craft a more precise command that gives you much more useful and tailored results. So maybe it's a bit hard to conceptualize that. So I'll show you a scenario. So I asked Copilot to help me with my resume updates. So I prompt in like, I'm a marketing analytics student who wants to add new work experience to my resume, update my resume with the experience, follow the format of my existing resume, provide appropriate bullet points to include in a resume with power words. So how this prompt is so much better than those fake one, like update my resume. So for the blue part, Copilot when reading this is knowing what I am aiming for and who I am. So giving it a context. For the green part, this is a direct request from me, my goal for this prompt. Following the purple one, it provides a template, my previous resume for Copilot to follow as a reference. So it's so much easier for Copilot with the help of resources. Extra points help it to um, put your um, like contents into a fixed framework. For the orange part, finally, like Copilot fully understands your request by adhering to what you expect. Here I ask for a specific professional style in the answer of bullet points from Copilot, ideally. So it's simple as that, but it often requires more than just one try. So you need to have trial and error to train yourself with prompting and to give you the best results. Now let's go to the live demo part.
Yes, the live demo part, I will be sharing how we can actually use Copilot. 1 second. Okay, I have it pulled up. Let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Perfect. So here I have a old resume I can use to update to my new experience. Sorry, I also have Grammarly on, which is a very nice tool I recommend. You probably know and probably use it already. But so I have
Sorry.
attached, bless you. So I have attached my old resume and asked it to update it to my new experience, which was my product manager role at Holman. So I asked it to tailor to future PM positions, and I made sure to specify what kind of response I want, which is a bullet point response. And I indicated what kind of experience I had learned and what kind of tools I used. So, and what the main kind of project was at the end of the internship. And let's see what kind of help we get from Copilot. As you can see, it took on what I asked for future PM positions and how to kind of format my position at Holman. It highlighted my stakeholder interviews with 30 internal users because that was my main point of the project, and highlighted some of the tools I used. And you can customize this to add more detail or possibly delete some as well. And it can also update the file and create a document for me, but we won't be doing that today. We also have the create option of creating a document, creating a presentation, and since it is built into the tools of slides and Word, it can PowerPoint, it can just like go in and even create like important documentation for you, um, which is very useful in a workplace, I would say. But yes, this is the overall kind of help that it can provide in a professional field.
So after the live demo, we like to now be your turn to build your resume. So a little recap on the four important prompt ingredients, the key elements when phrasing your Copilot prompts. So it's important to get those four ready is the context, goal, source, and your expectations.
We will be skipping this for the time being because I think it's going to take longer for somebody to build their resume. But if you would like to share any questions you have asked Copilot in the past about your resume, we would love to hear that.
Okay, let's move on.
So one thing we would like to highlight is being able to tailor your resume to specific roles that you see. So if you're applying to a job, usually you see the role description, what kind of employee they would like to hire. And usually they have certain tools that they use or certain things they look for specifically. And if you're looking at data science and software engineering, there's a set of keywords, and marketing and project management, there's a set of keywords. Specifically for data science and software engineering roles, we recommend to use relevant keywords. So for data science, strategic, analytical, something to do with data, and especially explaining what you've done in the past, maybe in similar roles or maybe school projects, and saying like maybe translating data into insights and including how you use data in the past. And if you're applying for a software engineering role, making sure to use developed or deployed or project ownership or deadlines and reaching deadlines, especially including that kind of like percentage, how much improvement you had over the project. What are the metrics that you kind of saw or used, and being able to kind of communicate it to the recruiter saying like, I have done these in the past and I can be a perfect fit just through your resume, and highlight skills that match. So if you have like certain skills that are relevant to maybe data science or software engineering. So in the role description, if they ask for a certain tool, making sure to include that in your resume, or maybe taking some certificates or maybe courses to kind of update your resume to match it, maybe including Power BI, Git, SQL, Databricks, or for software engineering, having Python, Java, JavaScript. I mean, I would say like internships are very welcoming and learning space as well. So you will probably learn these on the job as well. But having that kind of like reach for learning new tools, I think is very important.
So now let's look into marketing or project management roles. So I'll start with marketing. So as a marketing analytics student, I resonate a lot with this. So marketing role is all about creativity and communication. So you need to catch really carefully what type of people employers are seeking for. So do they want content creators, storytellers, or do they want people who can also analyze customers' respond? Of course, there are so many more branches in marketing, such as digital marketing, ads marketing, social media marketing, content marketing, luxury marketing, PR marketing, the list goes on. So, while with all these complexities, I believe there are some skills that are commonly sought after by employers who want in the like marketing field and also it's nice to have. First is analytical skills. Second is social media. Um, rest are some CRM tools leveraging graphic design and also communication. So as an analytics students also, I feel extremely strong and you all can see like analytical skills important is growing exponentially. So to become a smarter marketer, we should never avoid using analytics and technology into making data-driven and decision-driven this marketing that are winning over the traditional ones, speaking frankly. So that's also why I choose my major that I think it can catch up with the trend of marketing. So story aside, there's also something I like to share on project management. So it's a very different thing from marketing. Marketing is about creativity and how you communicate your creativity. So project management is about how you can lead and organize, oversee a lot of aspects such as budget, like planning, projects, and resource allocation, risk control, and so much more for running a project from scratch to finish. In some sense, both areas like marketing and project management require people who can communicate well, but marketing branches maybe even require people who can communicate clearly in data level. But project management definitely focus on a much more softer skill required areas such as the interpersonal communication. So the skills you need to show whether you're a right fit for project manager roles is having the team leadership, communication, problem solving, stakeholder management, and even budgeting. So um, project management. Project management roles are asking for someone who is very accountable, a very stellar communicator, who can both speak and actively listen to understand every aspect of and potential issues. So I must say it's not very easy for like entry level like internship roles or entry level roles to achieve like a project manager responsibility. But I hope my sharing gives you a new direction to consider when it comes to your career prospect because a lot of business students um, are also seeking opportunities in project management field. So
So thank you
um,
for, yes.
so I will. we will just wrap up our session here and thank you for joining us today so much. Yeah. So if you have any question,
Yes.
feel free to leave it in the chat box and we will see.
So good afternoon, everyone. Before I dive in, I just have to commend all my friends I know who showed up to support me today. You know exactly who you are, and it means a lot to me. So today I'm ending this webinar with a topic on prompt engineering generative images in the style of underrepresented artists. So using AI as a cultural echo or tool to basically honor heritage. So it's not just a tech talk, but it's more about giving voices back to the artists and the stories that deserve the spotlight. So I hope you stick around to my talk. Next slide. Okay, so did you know that in a study of 10,000 AI generated images from Stable Diffusion, it prompted with something as simple as a photo of a person? White faces dominate at 47%, but Asians is just at 3%. And get this, 65% of those images are predominantly male figures, with women at just 35%. So it's like AI is stuck in this Western centric echo chamber that erases the diversity that makes art so alive. So these stats aren't just numbers, they're a wake up call for why this workshop matters today. They show how default prompts feed into stereotypes and gendered biases. So ethical prompting ensures that those cultural heritage are accurate, respectful, and also nuanced and full of life. So for the rest of you who might not know me yet, hi, I'm Martina Reganit, and I'm studying digital humanities and computer science. So I'm very passionate about the intersection of these two contrasting fields. So what gets me excited is the stories of Filipino overseas workers. So the unsung heroes in my family and community that works abroad, but carries the culture in our hearts inspired me to dive into how AI can essentially honor those narratives instead of sidelining them. So for today's workshop with our theme of underrepresented artists, I'll spotlight the Philippines' cultural richness through the lens of my favorite national artist, which is Fernando Amorsolo. And I believe that his works basically captures the beauty of my nation and the resilience of the people as well. So we'll use him as our example to demo the challenge of dodging those prejudiced stereotypes. But trust me, this isn't just about Filipino art. You can swap it in any style. Maybe a Maori carver from New Zealand or a Batak weaver from Indonesia. So the techniques I'll share will hopefully spark some future projects that you guys might be also interested to dive on. So learning how to ethically prompt isn't some nice to have. It's truly relevant in the age of AI right now. So we're all currently navigating it and it's quite broad right now. And I'll break it down for you in these three main points. So first up is representation. So this creates a ripple effect, which basically puts an emphasis on the minorities and counter those narratives that are baked into training data sets that are currently predominantly dominated by Western media. So if you think about it, when AI generates images, it tends to ignore authentic stories. It's like we're kind of invisible in the digital archive. But with smart prompting, we can push back to make sure that South Asian motifs or any other parts of the world get the representation that it accurately deserves, and when it comes to being accurate. Yeah. So, and the second point is that it has a cultural impact that amplifies identity through the distinctive style of that underrepresented artist. So it helps preserve our heritage amid all this globalization where everything kind of seems blurry now. And I've actually kind of seen it firsthand when it comes to generating the Omar Solo style. So this has been my project since my first year, and I've just seen how AI has basically evolved. And it's really important to be very, very specific when you prompt. And yeah, so then the third one is ethical impact. Now, this one is huge, which emphasizes appreciation over straight up appropriation. So sparking those critical discussions on the biases that lurks in AI is what's important, which is basically cultural sensitivity. So we're not here to mimic, we're actually here to honor these artworks with respect and the style that reminds people of where what this art style represents. So it avoids pitfall that could essentially cause harm to the very communities that we're trying to essentially celebrate. And for the fourth, it promotes AI literacy by demystifying generative AI as a straight up research tool. So it lets us spot its limitations and boundaries early. So whether you're doing a group project, these prompts can turn vague ideas into something that is very specific and accurate. So now I'll walk you through a step-by-step guide so that you yourself can prompt like a professional. So it's broken into 3 main steps to make it easier for everyone to remember by. So the first one is by context. So this grounds AI in specificity, which slashes or just eradicates those generic outputs. So instead of just simply saying, make a painting of Philippine village, you have to be specific. So say something like a rural southeast village under golden hour sun, because AI doesn't know what a Philippine village looks like. So then it will able to accurately depict and avoid the bland one size fits all vibe. So then the second step is in adjective. So here you can layer in a nuance control to prevent flat and lifeless results. So think of adjectives like luminous, vibrant, textured, brushstrokes. So words that dial in the mood and feel. So if you're in art history, I think this is easier for you because we do visual analysis a lot. So without them, without these words, your image might look kind of washed out and uh, yeah. So then the last step is reference. So this forces AI to tap into its authentic training data sets. So it describes visuals plainly. So no fancy terms because again, AI doesn't know what this is. So it's kind of like you have to teach them in simple description for it to like accurately produce that image. So uh, this foundational skill is not just applicable to one AI model, it can be applied to a lot of other systems. So whether you're vibe coding, you're producing accurate cultural images, summarizing research papers for a thesis, or analyzing data in spreadsheets, prompt engineering basically locks in reliable outputs every time if you're very specific. So in our AI-driven era, natural language is very important. So vague questions get you vague results. But being precise unlocks AI's like true potential, basically. So it saves you a lot of hours. Now, next slide. I'd highly encourage you to take a screenshot of this slide and screen right now. So it will be your go-to guide and quick summary of everything we'll be covering today. So in a way, this is kind of like your prompt formula, and feel free to tweak it, like those in between the brackets for any artist or styles that you want AI to nail accurately. So as a live demo later on, you can plug in a motif from your own heritage and see what it produces. So as a reference, this is what a solid prompt should look like. I know it looks scary and it looks like an essay, but the best part is you don't have to like craft it from scratch like you're doing homework. Um, so you can just like prompt AI to basically make the prompt for you, if that makes sense. So you can ask like AI, oh, can you prompt this idea? Then if it generates it and if it doesn't look exactly what you want it to look like,
then you have to tweak it along the way. That's why it looks this long. But because of this long prompt, it was able to generate like these visuals that you see in my presentation slides. Yeah, which is pretty cool. So now I'll put it into action, but for the sake of time, I've already generated it. So again, we're trying to replicate Fernando Amorsolo's inspired Philippine rural scene. So you can see it in this slide. Yeah. And then I can open it. So when I fed the prompt to Copilot, it was able to generate this image. And I actually wanted to look more vibrant and colorful because right now it looks very dull. So then again, you have to teach Copilot, and then it generates like this more colorful scene. Yeah. And then, so now, okay, so now that these, like you've learned how to prompt, essentially, we were able to address some problems with, like such as, first of all, AI datasets are overwhelmingly biased toward Western art styles, which leads to inaccurate or erased representations of minorities. And or the solution, like through this workshop, is through prompt iteration with specific language. So we've seen how simple phrasing just tweaks and shapes output quality and cultural accuracy. So just those adjustments of me trying to change it to look more colorful, turn the generic scene into something that is quite more resonant. And then for the second problem that this workshop aimed to address is generative AI often turns or like caricatures stereotypical images from its spotty training data sets, which risks real ethical harm to underrepresented cultures. So by covering mindful phrasing and ethical boundaries, like focusing on expressive hands over just faces, like for more dynamic movement in the piece or like the AI generated image that you want to create. So I equipped you with that critical control and judgment over AI. So no more accidental stereotypes. So just some thoughtful and appreciative visuals. So I want to thank you all for listening to my talk today, and I hope I was able to share not just some knowledge to you, but a bit of that passion that's got me hooked into this field. And I hope you see that the relevance and like how our fields and even humanities are evolving this much already as well. So I hope this piqued your curiosity as well. And I hope that you can play with Copilot to enhance your research and discernment when it comes to generating visuals. So if you ever do create them yourself, you can share it with me. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Once again, thanks to all speakers for your presentations and demonstrations. So I would like to emphasize the ethical and responsible use of AI. Again, if you have any questions, just drop your questions in the Q&A box and we will answer them later with all speakers. Here's a few points I'd like to emphasize. So number one, critical evaluation of outputs. I think some of our speakers also mentioned that. So it's very important that we not just use AI to generate something for us, but we also critically evaluate the output and also fact check the output for accuracy, potential bias and hallucinations. So right? And then second, human in the loop approach. So remember, Gen AI tools just work as an assistant, and it did not like replace our critical thinking. AI reads does not mean we read, or AI thinks does not we thinks, and also AI writes does not mean we write something. So we need to do it ourselves. We need to experience all this process so that we can have our own critical thinking and improve our own writing skills, and also disclosure of AI use. But for this one, you need to consult with your instructor or professor or teacher to see if they have a certain rules that require you to disclose your AI use. Otherwise, I don't think we need to specify like we use Grammarly for grammar check, right? But for like for example, image generations or idea brainstorming, I think you can still share this kind of usage. Excuse me. And then also protecting privacy and confidentiality. For example, if like the first speaker just show us like how she make use of Copilot and also Gemini to deal with the research data. So remember, like in your research project, especially in the postgraduate level, do consider the data privacy issue and do not feed your private data to some LM or some tools. And also academic integrity. Do not use AI generated content to replace your own effort or compromise academic integrity. AI can be your brainstorming partner or your assistant, but the ultimate creations and synthesis must be your own work, and also effective prompting to get the most use of these useful results. Create specific and detailed prompting, providing clear context, persona, format preferences, and references where appropriate. So, how to make use of these effective prompting? I think in tomorrow's sharing, we will have some demonstrations of how to create your AI agents for study so that you can pre-design those agents with some preset prompting so that you do not have to give them some prompt for the same usage every time. For example, like Abby just said, just showed us that she also owns a agent. I think it's called academic reader, right? So it helps us to read academic readings or academic contents. Also, if we fit them the prompting of the preset prompting with like, okay, so also correct or give me the APA7 format, or it can also generate that for us, and it saves as a lot of time. But be aware of that, like for different subjects or for different disciplines, you might have different preference on the citation and referencing style. So double check it. And also, I would like to emphasize that there are so many tools on the market and so many helpful functions of each tool, but do consider what your learning needs are and select one or two appropriate tool or function to start first. And those tools or those usage of tools that might need to meet your learning needs and help you study more efficiently. And also, like this series of workshop is not about how to introduce how fancy the AI tools can do. It's about how we recognize our learning needs and select the appropriate tools to use. So this series aims to show you different usage that you have free access